No, you're good. I don't know if y'all hear you're eating or not. Let's see. Okay, that looks actually decent. I mean, cluttered as I don't know what. This thing is way up there. Those who are on the stream, can you hear me okay? Obviously, I don't have any feedback right now, but it should be going through my mic. See that? If you can play that. We're checking right now. I wish YouTube had a better way to go. Someone says yes. Okay. All right, cool. Sweet. I had to remember my camera's up here, so I'm looking this way, but I'm looking at my face down here. What's up, y'all? This is going to be the much more informed live talking about the Eterna here. It's behind this. I should have put this on this side. My wife's with me, so she can actually read the questions, and I won't be so distracted on trying to talk and then go back and forth. But yeah, this is exciting. It's been a full week with the GFX Eterna 55. I want to give Fujifilm a shout out. Oh, so hold on, I got some feedback now. One second.
Shouldn't do this because I have it all.
No, you're fine. No, it's coming from the laptop. This is so embarrassing. Okay. All right, let's try that again. Can you all hear me? Give me a thumbs up in the chat. Can you hear that?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I hear your voice. All right, cool. A couple of house rules, couple of house cleaning, I guess you can say. There are screen grabs from a few of the projects I've worked on so far this week in the top pinned comment in the chat. They're just screen grabs right now. I haven't finished what I've been commissioned. I'll get just a little bit of what that is, but I haven't finished what I'm filming yet, so I'm not sharing any live footage just yet. But if you want to see footage from the Eterna 55, Fujifilm already did a whole campaign with several other fantastic filmmakers. I always forget his last name, but the DP who DP'd the creator, he did a short called You, and there's a couple other directors and filmmakers that got their hands on the Eterna earlier. If you want to see more footage, definitely check out the Fujifilm Eterna website. You just type in Eterna 55 and it should come up. There's some other interactive things on that platform as well. But I guess just get into that. Fujifilm, I guess, in case you guys don't know, I am an ambassador for Fujifilm. It's been a full year now since I've worked with them. And I've been a Fujifilm user for the last 4 or 5 years or so. And they commissioned me to make content for the website in relation to f-log2c, using different lenses on the GFX Eterna 55. So this has been, really awesome to work with the team. They've been fantastic this whole year. It's been really nice working with them, working closely. But this is not an official Fujifilm live stream. Obviously, this is coming from my YouTube channel. I did let them know that I'm going to do this because I'm excited to talk about this camera. So I will be sharing some of the things that this camera can offer. I will kind of talk about how does this fit in this grand scheme of other cameras that are out there around this price range, above and below. But also just take note, this camera is not shipping. As there's only a few cameras circulating out in the world right now, and I have one of them. So again, I'm very humbled to be able to be in this position and share this information with you all. And this is only this is firmware 0.1, so 1.0, I guess you can say. So there are things that I've already expressed to Fujifilm. The things that I've experienced with this camera and I've given a list to them already. I'm not going to share those things just yet because I don't think it'd be fair to judge this camera while it's still in beta. I mean, that wouldn't be fair at all. There are some few things I'm going to mention that are intentionally done with this camera that I think should change, in my opinion. And I am going to share those. But the things that are just like bugs or weird things I'm dealing with, I'm not going to mention until a little bit later, and I'll compare and contrast notes once those things kind of come to light. Once the camera actually gets released. So, that was a mouthful. And are we good? I went to like a trance. I'll just start rambling off the things I wrote out this morning. Cool. So yeah, again, if you want to see some clips, some frame grabs, there's a link in the top in the pin chat, in the pin comment in the chat. I don't do this often, guys. Cool. So let's talk about just the good stuff about this camera, why I'm excited for this camera, and yeah, everything in between.
One person does have a question. They say, current thoughts 1 to 10, no context.
I mean, it's an 8 in my opinion. I've always liked the GFX system. I always liked GFX from the first iteration of their stills camera when they first introduced it and what they want to do with that. It was a system I've always been influenced on. And so seeing it evolve over the last really 6 years or so has been really exciting. And the introduction of video, this Fujifilm is the first to introduce large format on the consumer level. So that was always exciting to me because I'm a lens snob, and medium format or large format in this case, being able to be super flexible with the lenses that you can use, and the types of lenses, and just getting unique looks out of that really excites me. And that's one of the reasons why I'm excited for the GFX. It's a very small reason. And there are some actual practical use cases for a camera like this. And I know a lot of people had a question about, would you choose this over the GFX 102? And simple enough, yes, I would choose this because I need a production camera. I need the IOs, the SDIs, the gen locks, time code, just a better workflow and the simplicity of a production camera. Because a hybrid camera is a hybrid camera. I say this all the time. As much as I use hybrid cameras right now, they always have their drawbacks. They always have their limitations. So sorry, I just went on a rant. But yeah, yeah, that's how I feel about the GFX right now, the Eterna right now. It's definitely 8 out of 10. But again, it's hard to give like a hard number because it's still very early. But I am very surprised how far along this camera is right now. Just a few months ago, some menus that wasn't even working. So the Fujifilm team is doing all they can to meet their deadlines. I don't know deadlines. I don't know what the actual shipping date is for this, but obviously it's going to be sometime next year. There's still a lot of content being made with this camera, and I'm part of that. So, but I'm very surprised where the first firmware is today because it's fully functional. Having indies is fantastic. Having the 4.3 open gate mode, that's what I basically filmed in. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but let me look at my notes real quick, and then I will ask. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I will answer questions towards the middle of this live stream because there's some things I just want to get through to build more context around how I use this camera this past week with the projects I was using. So, looking at my board here. Said that. Yeah. Okay. So essentially, I'm making content for the website to show how you can use the new LUTs that Fujifilm introduced. They're not really new, but now you can actually use Fujifilm LUTs on different cameras. I haven't used it on my other cameras yet, but I have been using it on the GFX Eterna as a LUT preview, as well as a LUT you can actually grade with. And so when my footage actually gets released, you'll get to see it on the website and you get to play around with those things. You have 12 built-in LUTs that you can preview into the camera. Excuse me. And, I've only used my Fujifilm LUTs for photography. So I'm really curious to see how this workflow is now. So I am going to test it out. I'm pretty basic. I am not a colorist. I never claimed to be a colorist. I like my colors to be true to life, but have a little bit of, nuances to it, but nothing over the top. I don't push anything. So being able to do that with LUTs available that I already like from Fujifilm, like the Eterna, Nostalgic Neg, classic chrome. Those things, those looks I do like. So it's going to be interesting playing with those in camera. My settings for this week, for those who care, I was in 4K, 4:3 the entire time, and I did some off-speed stuff. So 2398 and 47.95. I like 48 frames a second. It just feels more organic, feels more lifestyle-y versus 60 frames a second. And I love the fact that it's in there with the full height and width. I'm gonna use that so much. ISO, this has dual native ISO, so 800 and 3200. And I pretty much use that whole range. So from outdoors, I was at indoors, I was about 800 to 1600, outdoors 32 to 64. Obviously with bright sunlight, I kind of tested whether, what does it look, how clean does it look like if I'm pushing it on the higher end and then ending down, or just staying at 800. So I kind of did some testing that way to see what the roll off looks like and what this camera is doing. And to my naked eye, unscientifically, the dynamic range feels really weighty. It feels like it's actually a difference from the GFX 102. The highlight roll off feels much more organic, feels much more smoother. Granted, some of the stills that you might see from the I should have pointed it out better, but you'll see in the titles of the stills that I use glimmer glass. So some of the shots do have glimmer glass, other shots don't. I think that obviously aided, but the ones that don't, I can tell that it holds a bit more detail and highlights and shadows as well with the dynamic range. So that's good to see. That's always good to see. Let's see, for the lenses, I use my beloved, you can kind of see it back here, right there. My Mamiya 645 lenses, the 45 and the 80. Really love those lenses, and again, gets me very excited to use medium format glass, vintage glass that is on this camera. These are not speed boosted. All the images are straight from dummy adapter to lens to camera. Reason being, and I agree with this, from the task I was commissioned to do, you want to get the most truest picture, and a speed booster would kind of manipulate the field of view of what you're actually seeing. So I'm doing some stuff on the side for a later video to make, but the things I'm going to be delivering, I kept it as true as possible. And I also used native GF lenses and the behemoth lens, the 32 to 90. That thing is incredibly light for the size that it is. It's a servo lens. Really, really nice lens. I wish it was a little longer on the longer end, but that's just me. But those are the lenses I used this past week. One full day was just manual lenses, worked flawlessly. And and then the next day, which was just yesterday, we were all in Chicago. You probably saw that on my Instagram. Thank you for interrupting.
I'm sorry.
We bopped around Chicago with some friends and did some autofocus testing, stuff like that. And I will say that was where my biggest critique is coming from. It's the autofocus, not where I expected where it was going to be, but we'll reveal more of that as time goes on and see what the feedback is going to be like from my notes that I gave to them about the autofocus in this camera. That being said, I guess I can take a quick break. I don't want to ramble too long. A break for any questions. Was there anything that popped up?
Someone's mighty, I think it's Midgie or Miggy. Will you compare it to the Blackmagic Pocket 12K, 6K?
I don't know. I don't have the time right now. Maybe next year. But I have used the 6K, the 12K. I mean, on paper, there's a lot of things you can kind of just check off and write off, but it's down to the user experience. Will I have time? I have no idea. I have no idea what next year's going to bring. My hope and goal is to actually slow down by December because I'm burnt out and I really want to spend time with my family, especially my son. He's been really wanting my attention. So I'm not trying to think about cameras in December. That's why I'm trying to do all this now. But I don't know. Who knows? If I have the time, I can reach out and see what happens. I don't know when I'm going to get this camera back. I send this back at the end of this week. I know I get it sometime next year, but we'll see.
Let's see. I wonder if GFX 102 will have the ability to preview lots eventually. Someone says, how does it compare to the 102? Is the image basically the same, just in a different body? That one's from Jules.
Yeah, and I might have already answered that. From the naked eye, I am doing some side by side stuff. I'm gonna do that Wednesday. But I don't think it's going to be leaps and bounds. Yes, the Eterna has an OLPF filter on it, so you shouldn't have to deal with sometimes the moire or the over sharpening that a lot of people tend to point out with the GFX. And and what I tend to do, I mean, I didn't for the first shoot, I didn't really do I didn't treat it as just naked. I treated it how I wanted to treat it, the camera. So I had my glimmer glass. I had the type of lens that I want. So that really did manipulate the image coming out of that sensor. The second half of the shoot, which was yesterday, and I had to still look through all that footage. I can give a better idea of what that looks like, and then I'll do a true side by side. But image quality, I think that's going to be the main difference. Is going to be that OLPF filter versus it not being in the GFX 102. There's going to be some benefits to that, especially with skin, sharpness, moire, those things like that. Anything else? And then I'll keep going.
Someone says GFX 100 reminds me of the old Canon 1DX2, and I hated the body. I don't want jumpy autofocus to improve it. Won't feel like Fuji.
He's just venting.
Have you tested external RAW?
No, I don't. Raw workflow for me personally, I know this is going to be something that's going to hinge on for a lot of people is the fact that there's no RAW, there's no 444 in this, no 12-bit internal. Yes, like you just mentioned, there is 12-bit external RAW, ProRes, and B-RAW. My workflow in my current job state, we don't use RAW workflows. If we did, we just probably pick up a Blackmagic camera at this point. But 10-bit is more than enough. I do a lot of commercials that we deliver online, and a RAW workflow is not the deal breaker for me. So I work a lot with 10-bit color anyway, and you're not really losing out. To be honest, like I think when people bring this up, how much are you relying on RAW? And I think that can be, in my opinion, I'm coming from Blackmagic too. It became a crutch in a lot of ways, and I've come to the point where I'm very comfortable with how I want to expose a scene. And not to say that I'm trying to throw anybody under the bus, but it can become that. It can become that mindset eventually. So yeah, if internal RAW is what you need and you don't want to do anything else out of that, maybe this camera is not for you. For me, I don't need internal RAW. I use 10-bit just fine and have no complaints for the last 3 years. So yeah, thanks for that question though. Okay, I'm gonna go back to this. All right, so like I was saying, the image coming out of this camera is really nice. I immediately am drawn to the 4.3. That's what I've been really excited for. And in case, just to compare why the sensor matters to me, not to say that bigger is better, but bigger is a preference for me right now. Pause. The fact that this sensor is the third largest sensor on the market outside of the Alexa 265 or 65, and then the Blackmagic Ursa Cine 17K. Those sensors are much wider. They have the longer width, but this is the tallest sensor in this category. But it's not a true 65 mil sensor. Hence the name 55. It's 55 millimeters in diagonally. But this gives me true flexibility for different lenses because this can crop all the way down from that size sensor down to Super 35. Now, I am not, and I will be honest, I am not extremely technical on if it's pixel bending or this, that, and the other, or how are you achieving that. There are some things that matter to me, but I don't pay close attention to that. Nothing's ever screamed at me that this is poor quality. And I've been using a GFX for over a year now, 102 that is. And prior to that, I was using my XH2S and other Fujifilm cameras. Maybe I'm just naive in that space, and that I'm gonna just be honest with that. It's never hindered what I created and what I put on screen, what I put out there on the internet. And for the most part, I don't think anybody's ever pointed out something weird anyway. So yeah, I just wanted to just throw that out there. But yeah, I think that this the Eterna, what it's doing internally, is definitely a nice blend of it's really reaching. I'm getting too like heady for this, but is reaching a little bit more than what the GFX does. I can clearly see when the GFX struggles in certain areas. This, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm pointing it towards the sun. I don't see like a hard cap. I see a smooth roll off, and that was really exciting to see. Um, from those stills that you see in the link, the Eterna. So we had the setups were, and I like to go straight into like studio mode. So I'm using lights. You can kind of see some behind the scenes in that link, but we're using lights, diffusing it, shaping it that way. We're putting on sticks, on dollies, deliberate movements, pans, all that stuff. And that was pretty much straightforward. And any camera in that scenario should perform and it passed the test. Like if a camera can't perform for whatever reason in that situation, there's an issue. The Eterna 55 passed. The run and gun was the really unique aspect of this. I was very curious how well I will be able to flow with going from the internal NDs, how's the weight and everything like that. And also, if you want really like real specific specs, feel free again to go to the website. They have everything listed out, the weight and all that. But I guess I'll throw out the weight right now. The body only is 4.5 pounds. And then as you build it out, it gets heavier. So that's smaller than the Burano, which Burano's about 5.5 pounds, so it's a pound lighter. And then the Ursa 12K Cine, I think that's like almost 10 pounds body, maybe, sorry, 8 pounds body only. And we'll get into the details about my thoughts of how that all fits compared to internal raw and all that stuff. But yeah, running gun. So you'll probably see some stuff again. Look on the thing. I had the easy rig and everything. And for the most part, it's not as fast because it is in this beta firmware. And what I was running into was there is a slight delay when you are scrolling through menu options and setting things up. Now, I did set all my hotkeys. There's 4 hotkeys on the body alone, and then there's a 5th one on the proprietary handle up here. The first day I didn't use the handle. I used my wooden camera handle just because it feels more rugged in my opinion. But doing that, I had some hotkey stuff. I didn't dial in whether or not I can make profiles, and there necessarily isn't profiles in here unless I'm missing it. There's a user interface, and I wish I had a third camera to kind of show you what that looks like. But you'll see it in my review a little bit later. But yeah, there's a slight delay when you're turning that knob. So if you turn once, it will go, but then if you turn again, it will wait, and then it will go again. So that in itself, I'm assuming that's going to get cleaned up because it can't be that slow when it comes out. The other thing is when you are, let me see if I can. This is okay. There's the camera. Can you still hear me? Can they still hear me? I know it's a slight delay, but you have to wait. All right, so one thing that's going to slow a lot of operators down, and right now this is intentional from Fujifilm. So all your controls and your menu settings are going to be on your big 6. I'm so glad that there's a big 6 here. If you use ARRI before, if you use Sony Venice before, it's going to feel very familiar in that space. Being able to have these quick hotkeys here to get to all your settings. However, the way Fujifilm has set this up is that you can only go through the menu through these side menus. And there's 2 menus on either side. There's the operator side, and then there's the assist side on this side here. And as of right now, when you have any monitor plugged in, SDI or the monitor that comes with the camera, you cannot see the menus come on screen. And that for me was a head scratcher because the way, especially if you use easy rigs, you don't want to turn the camera to the side and try to get through your menus. And that's how I felt about the Blackmagic cameras, the Pixis bodies. If you didn't have their monitor, you had to change your settings while you're using your easy rig to the side and do it that way. So it's very uncomfortable. It does slow you down. And so that was one of my comments and plead to actually ask Fujifilm to change that, because their philosophy was just to really keep the image as pure and clean as possible when you're looking through the viewing screen. And I get that, but practicality wise, it's going to be it's going to be cumbersome for a lot of operators who are used to seeing their menus pop up on their monitor, whether it's their third-party monitor or the monitor that comes with the camera. So I just want to point that out. Yeah, I could go to questions now.
Excuse me, sorry. How long does the battery last?
Forever. So I ran the small rig 212 batteries on day one. I ran that battery for almost 6 hours. And it got down to, well, we switched it out about 28%, but from 100, from the time we got there, I had the camera on. And then when we got to the city, that's when I changed the battery, and that was around 4 o'clock. So from 9 a.m. to 4, the battery, it was just on. I was like, oh, that's great. I don't know the power draw. I think correct me if I'm wrong, look it on the website. But I'm not going to say the number, but it doesn't drink batteries at all. Oh, I'm glad you also asked about battery life. So there is hot swapping in here, kind of, not really. So that there is what's it called? The Fujifilm battery here, the same battery that the GFX takes, right? And so this acts as your hot swap battery with the built-in V mount in the back here. And so how this works really is not your traditional V mount. So if you hot swap, if you take off this battery, let me see if I can do this here. I should have thought this through, y'all. Okay. Once you take off this battery, a message is going to pop up and says, please connect to external battery or AC adapter. The camera is still on. It's a safety mode, so it doesn't act like a true V mount hot swap in this sense. So once you put it back on or plug it into DC power, it's going to wake itself back up, and then you can go back to rolling. So in that mode, if you are recording or power trips out, whatever that dies, it's going to reserve that clip, but you won't be able to see picture or roll from there. And that's intentional. And I don't know any other further details past that. My hope is that they find a way to make it as a true hot swap, because this camera can turn on with this internal battery just fine, and it'll run about 45 minutes on its own, which is extremely impressive. Like, you would think that small battery running this size of a camera. I just had it running so I can go through the menus, and it was just fine. So yeah, I'm glad you asked that.
Someone says, sorry if you already answered this, but what was the color process on those stills you posted? Was it just CST and or LUT? They are beautiful.
Oh yeah, they were just a LUT. I use LUT Co. My homie Evan Snyder, I always say his name like that. He makes LUTs, and it's the LUT that I use for all of my Fujifilm cameras, and that was just the F-Log 2C to that conversion LUT, and then a little bit of contrast and some juicing up a little bit, but nothing crazy. But thank you. Yeah, I think their images are very beautiful too.
Daniel Land says, how did you find the rolling shutter?
So it surprisingly, in OpenGate, the rolling shutter is just as good as the GFX 1-2. And again, I think that being one of the issues that people have with certain cameras, the Burano has worse rolling shutter than this camera. So take that into account. That's a $25,000 camera. There's no official numbers yet. There's no been official testings, but we were out in the city and I'm running around with it in the full height and width of the sensor, 4K mode, and I don't see any significant wobble, whatever that is. And I'm on an easy rig, so I am whipping it around and stuff like that. Again, that's going to become later once I get to release the footage, because that's one thing I want to talk to again. But once you get in down to the 8K, that's when the 8K does show up the rolling shutter, and that's the same thing from the GFX 1-2. I think the number from the GFX 1-2, it jumps up to like 27 milliseconds in 8K. But 8K, I actually use 8K a lot now that we have a lot of wildlife around in our area, I get to kind of punch in way more. And I'm not trying to whip with that thing, but I get a little bit more reach with that 8K mode. But yeah, it looks from the trained eye, from the naked eye, about 15-ish milliseconds, which is the same as the GFX 102, which is very fast for that size sensor. This sensor, y'all, this sensor is big. There's a chart on the Fujifilm website. You can see how much bigger it is than full frame. So there's a lot of processing power happening here. So I think it's an incredible feat.
Common thread asks, have you noticed any firmware bugs in the OS?
Yes, there are. And I mentioned at the top of this video, there's bugs. I'm not going to hash them out just yet because I'm giving Fujifilm a chance to address them. Only things that were intentional that I'm going to speak to that is already in this camera, that's the things I'm going to share with you all. But anything that I'm finding out right now, I'm giving Fujifilm the chance, because it's not fair to judge, to speak on those things when this camera is not fully out, and this is only firmware 1. So yeah, yes, there are bugs though. Nothing like damaging, but there are bugs.
Andre Banks asks, I don't know if you tested it yet, but how does it pair with XH2S?
I haven't touched my XH2S in a couple weeks now.
Don't forget the baby.
I will get to that eventually, but I still, the XH2S is still a phenomenal camera. It still has an amazing image, so I think it's going to hold up well, to be honest.
Anthony Pagarek asks, how is the Fuji monitor? I saw that you had both a small HD and the Fuji hooked up at the same time.
Yeah, the Fujifilm monitor is actually quite nice. It's the same size as my Ultra 5, not as thick as the Ultra 5. It's a nice monitor. There's some features I think they're just not working right now. Like there's supposed to be some touch to tap options. It works here and there. But the thing that's I wish Fujifilm did, and I'm not sure what the reason is that this here, I don't know if I get this over here. I don't know if you can see that. Probably can't see that. This is the proprietary cable for it. And this is delivering power. This is delivering the touchscreen options. This is delivering a lot of things that this monitor is trying to do for the camera. It seems a little fragile in my opinion, but you know, because if you're constantly taking in and out of that. But the monitor is nice. It's bright. I think it's 1500 nits. And you have some hotkey options you can switch out. Oh, so I said that wrong then. So there's 7 total hotkeys. So 4 in the body, 1 in the handle, and 2 on the monitor itself. And it comes with a sun hood.
Okay. This is the question. The question, this is from 1125 Linux. The question wasn't about internal RAW. It was to confirm if the raw output is only HDMI and the 12G SDI only outputs linear.
Yeah, I still don't know that yet. I haven't asked that. So I'm assuming from my experience before, the B-roll and ProRes RAW has always been HDMI out, but I don't know if that's an option. I don't know. I saw the option in there. It says SDI, HDMI, but I have not tested. So.
Common thread asks, have you tried pairing with Aureus versus Vespid 2?
Huh?
Lenses.
Oh, wow.
Have you tried pairing with the Aureus versus Vespid 2?
I will this Thursday. Right now, I just want to put my vintage lenses on here. This is honestly the perfect camera for vintage lenses to see all the goodness. But I'm going to use the Aureus's Thursday because I have to go back to Indianapolis for a project.
Renique Arte, polymathic artist, asks, I usually use classic chrome adjusting highlights and shadows with reverse S curve on my XH2S. Really fits my workflow and great separation. How do you think that will compare to XH2S and Eterna? I
don't know. I've never done that before. It's that's a cool workflow. I don't know. Yeah.
Vista Pierce says the screen grabs look awesome.
Sweet.
Wendy in Wonderland asks, do you think Fuji has produced something that people will fall in love with?
That's a good question. I mean, to be honest, the filmmaker market is kind of crazy. And I say that from a consumer side and from just like a camera side. If you already like Fujifilm, you're going to love this camera. And if you need a camera that's going to be be used in a professional workspace that has all the proper things you need to run a small production or upscale production, you're going to really like the Eterna. Is it going to be enough to is it going to be enough to change your mind if you already are Canon or you're invested in Sony? I don't know, and I'm not one to say you need to jump ship. I'm never going to sit here and try to sell you this camera. I'm just going to tell you my experience and what I like and how does it compare. It's really up to you if it's worth that whole workflow. Now, I will say, and this is nothing against Fujifilm yet, but when it comes to the ecosystem, because this is they really want to lean into the autofocus in this camera. And right now, Fujifilm is the only manufacturer that makes GF lenses because they make the still lenses. And I've always said this with all of their lenses that they should look at what Lumix is doing, what Sony is doing, and how they are introducing new technologies and their still lenses that become hybrids for video and photo. Just because these the GF lenses, some of them are just old and slow, and they just can't they don't work well with the autofocus. That's even with the GFX 100 too. There's some lenses that do really well, other lenses just don't. So I would love to see Fujifilm focus on making either updating these lenses or making just better lenses for video that can live in both worlds. So so that being said, like when you thinking about if you want to get out of Sony stuff, like Sony's done a really good job with how they've made their lenses and how it works with video, with autofocus and all that stuff. So that would be a hard sell for me to say like, yeah, you should totally jump out, because I know what's hindering Fujifilm right now has been lenses and autofocus.
Anybody says they love that built-in hot swap feature. Someone says, Hamad Al-Mufta, how about recording time? Which card size did you use?
Oh, yeah.
How long would it record for?
Yeah. So I have the Angelbird 2 terabytes CFast Express Type B, the newer ones. The 2 terabyte for 4K 4.3 ProRes HQ is 240 minutes. So it's easy. 240 minutes for both cards. And then the first project we filmed for 9 hours, and that was about 700 gigs. So less than a terabyte. And granted, we're not filming like narrative long pieces. These are like burst modes, and that was a mix of slow frame rates and regular frame rates. So yeah, good question. And then the smallest card, I have a terabyte, so it's about half that. So
Armando says more camera manufacturers should have that battery swap feature. Brandon,
what's up, Armando? I said, what's up, Armando? I see Cam's in here too.
Yeah, he says, does it do your taxes? That's what I was.
Boy, I wish. Shoot, I gotta get to my CPA soon, man. Shoot. Graham asks, is the 4K mode usable rolling shutters? Is 4K mode with usable rolling shutters still line skip?
Like the GFX 102.
I haven't looked into it, probably. I don't know.
Next person says, is there false color and waveforms?
There's no false color, and I actually didn't think about that. There's no false color in here, but there's the waveform options that they have. So they have waveform, parade, vector scope, and histogram. I want them to get rid of histogram. Nobody uses histogram for video. Waveform is great, and then I use with my small HDs EL zone. So I haven't missed false color. I use EL zone all the time. So, but I know a lot of other filmmakers still use false color. So I'm glad you pointed that out. That's definitely something they should consider adding in. With the price. Oh wait, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Jamrock image. With that price, is must big thing in this camera 6K and the biggest sensor?
With that price, is must big thing. Can you rewrite that question, my guy?
Jamrock image. Please rewrite the question.
Yeah. I kind of get what you're saying, but I want to be clear what you're saying.
Let's go to the next
yeah.
Person, do you think Fuji will ever give XH2S some more love? A great camera just needs an update to the firmware for false color and waveform, also an embedded LUT option.
They have my video. That's all I know. If you watch the abandoned video from the XH2S, I love that everyone came out and said their piece. So it's up to Fujifilm to make the decision now if they're going to continue. They should. Like, it's their best. I mean, outside of this, it's the XH2S is their. I would say now it's almost like a three-way tie, to be honest. But the XH2S because of the readout speed, the GFX 102, and then this camera. Those are your best three cameras for video. But it's been a while. It's been a while. Now, I haven't looked at any updates, so maybe there's an update I haven't seen. Maybe there'll be an update once this unleashes, but I know everyone is full on Eterna right now. Yeah.
Someone says, thoughts about the 32 to 90?
It is. Do I have it up here?
Massive.
This bag packs down so tightly you forget the lenses in here.
Yeah.
Which can be a dangerous thing. I know, right?
Slipping out your seat.
I know.
Oh,
all right, so here it is, the 32 to 90, right? Oh, yeah, because it's on my eye. 32 to 90. This thing is, I've never used a servo lens, especially a Fujinon lens. I've used Fujinon lenses, but not the servo lenses. And it took some getting used to because the zoom and all that stuff, you have all these switches on here to go back and forth, and you can control it with the top handle here. But it is a beautiful lens. I used it about 50% of the time yesterday, but it's incredibly light relative to what the size is. This is a little bit lighter than my DZO RO lenses, so that says a lot. But thoughts, it's clear, it's clean, it's crisp, it's a Fujinon lens. I didn't do like any bulk yet. I mean, I have a shot. I do have a shot. Oh, I should have put that in the link. I'll do that later. I'll leave this link up. This live is going to stay up. So I'll put some more stills in there so you can kind of see, and I'll label what lens it is. You hit my camera.
I'm sorry. I'm moving slow.
We're sore. We walked, how many miles yesterday did we walk?
Too much.
I want maybe 5. It's not 5 miles is a lot with a camera strapped to your back. And then my wife carried all the lenses. Shout out to my wife. Chat, give her some love because she raw dogged it yesterday with all the running around I had to do in Chicago. So she's paying the price right now. We are both very sore. Cool.
Next question. Oh, are you still? Did you?
No, yeah, I'm good.
Okay. How's the speed booster looking with its open gate setting? I'm very interested in.
I haven't done anything with it yet. Thursday I will. Not Thursday. Wednesday I will. So I'll report back either via stories. So make sure you're following my Instagram. Because I need to do some side-by-side stuff. I'm very, very excited to see what that looks like.
It says, I know you mentioned you won't be doing any camera testing until probably next year. What do you think about pairing it next to the 17K or so?
Yeah, I mean, I think if I can get my hands on those cameras, that'd be very awesome. That would be a time-consuming video to make, though, and I would definitely need some help. So who wants to do a massive collaboration? Just we can figure out something, because that's a tall task for one person to try to speak to all these cameras and stuff like that. I can speak to it as is, but like getting to know the cameras, that's just going to take a couple months personally for me, how I like to dive into things. So
someone says, how's the low light performance?
Surprisingly good. I know if people have mentioned like there's a secret dual native ISO for the XH2S, and she's over here cracking up. The XH2S and GFX 102, but this has a rated dual native ISO, and I pushed it to 3200, clean from my standard personally, and I pushed it all the way to 12,800. There's one clip in there you can kind of see some of the digital grain in it. I wouldn't push it that far, but 6,400 I think is usable, and then some cleanup. I don't mind adding noise reduction, a bit of noise reduction to clean it up, but I would say 1,300 is very usable in my opinion.
I was laughing because Kofi said he said put him in, coach.
Oh yeah, for the collab. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you have a better. I haven't talked to my rep from Blackmagic in a while, so yeah, we gotta figure out something. Coming to Toronto, spring.
Or him come here.
Yeah.
One of the
Chicago or something.
Anyways. Okay, someone says, great to hear the positivity about the rolling shutter. What in camera exposure tools does it have?
Yeah, it has, like I said, waveform. It has all the same exposure tools as the GFX 100 does. So waveform, parade, vector scale, vector scope, and histogram. And I said earlier, histogram needs to be removed because it's a silly. Nobody uses histogram in video. And then it doesn't have false color, but if you have small HD, I would encourage using EL zone. I think it's a better way to judge exposure, but everybody has their vice of how they want to expose. So yeah.
This one's all the way at the bottom, but I don't remember. It says, not an Eterna question, but can you fly with 212 mount?
No, you can't fly with them. They'll lock you up. Think it's a bomb or something.
Wait, not even if it's like fully dead, you can't?
No, you can't. You can't fly with those. The cap, I think, is 150. I think that's the cap on some airlines. Yeah. And I only fly with 99s unless I ship it or get it from a rental house.
Hamad says, what do you think of new Kipon, new Mamiya 645 versus TLS and GI Optic?
Say Kipon again?
Kipon. Why?
You said it funny. I'm just poking on you. Kipon.
Kipon.
Oh no, you said it Kipon or something. You said Kipon. That's what you said.
Kipon. Whatever.
What do you think of the new Kipon? Bruh. I'm going to hit up the owner of Kipon and say, hey, well, I should still hit him up because even though I had to send his camera back, I still had the GFX 100 too. But I'm excited. Like, I love the Mamiyas, and I need to finish buying my kit. Oh, I need to show y'all my 500 mil lens that I bought last week. I bought the 500 mil Mamiya 645 lens. So hyped for that. But yeah, I'm excited for it. I don't know if I can get my hands on it anytime soon. I'm not gonna feel like I'm entitled. If I had to buy it, I had to buy it. So
Wendy in Wonderland asks, what 3 lenses, focal length, and aperture does GFX need to go to the next level?
What 3 lenses? They need to make Fujinon. They get tired of people saying this. They need to make a prime set. Like, make some good Fujifilm primes. 5 lens set to start. You know, I would totally jump ship if it looked. I mean, yeah, that's my opinion. I think they should make a prime set. They have a lot of zooms, but making a prime set would be great. So of course, like, I would go 18, 18, 24, 35, 50, 85, 135. That's 6 lenses. And then what was the other thing? And aperture. Oh, I mean, if we're talking about GFX, a crazy fast aperture isn't needed for a sensor this size. So, T21 would be great because that would translate, I think. I don't want to throw that, make me sound silly, but a T21, I think, is plenty fast for a large format lens on a GFX sensor. So that's how I feel.
Kofi asks, have you tried your Misc Aros lenses on it yet?
No, not yet. Okay. I need to try I did try the 18, even yes, obviously in 4K mode, in the 4.3 mode. But I haven't done anything serious with it yet. Too many lenses to test, to be honest, bro. I'm spinning out my head.
Image by Michael asks, is this camera really necessary besides the gear pimps pushing cameras to make money?
You okay? Not to be offensive, it's like, I mean, if it's not okay.
Wait, what? I didn't get what you were trying to say.
No, I mean, like, he's what is he saying?
Is this camera really necessary besides the gear pimps pushing cameras to make money?
I mean, I make money in other ways, but I'm not trying to push this camera on you. If you're directing it to me, that's why I'm confused. Mm-hmm. But if you don't want the camera or anything to do with it, then
don't worry about it.
Then there's other things to do in life. There's a lot of stuff happening in the world right now. So, yeah. I think I don't know. That just bugs me because there's a assumption that you're making. It's not worth addressing, but it bugged me.
Chris Yoshi Das says, are the lower resolutions oversampled from the full image area? How do the higher frame rates like the 1080p 120 look compared to the 8K 4K?
When I get cameras, I rarely test high frame rates. So I don't know. That's not what I don't shoot high frame rate stuff. This camera isn't made for high frame rates. And 1080p 120 just doesn't sound appealing to me anyway. Like I said, I'm most likely going to go in this camera unless it's needed is 48 frames a second. I love the way 48 frames a second looks, especially on the human body. It feels more elegant, feels more lifestyle-y. So I have a very particular way I want to use this camera, and that's how I'm using it right now. So I'm not testing everything because this is not enough time. So I'm trying to get as much video content out as I can that I'm going to use and judge the camera on versus how you might want to use it. And I know that's hard because I know a lot of people don't have access to this thing. And I'm not your Jared on Duns. I'm not your other guys who are out there who tend to look at, and I'm not knocking it, but look at every little spec, every little detail, and make commentary on that. Some things I just don't really care about. And it's more about, does this camera empower me to create? That's what I worry about. And do I like it? Do I enjoy filming with it? Like, what's the experience like? That's what I'm really trying to focus on when I share these things. So, yeah, as more people get their hands on this camera, you just have to be a student and kind of pull together all the information that's out there and make an informal decision.
Back to that one where we asked him to rewrite his question.
Yeah.
Said, sorry, I mean the price is a lot.
Uh-huh.
What's the biggest selling point in this camera? Because there is a lot of 6K camera, and I know the sensor is great and big, but that price is a lot.
So let me put that in perspective with what's out there. So you have the Blackmagic Ursa Cine 12K, which starts at $8,000 roughly, body only. That doesn't come with anything other than the built-in screen and then the mount. To get it to working condition, you're going to either you get the pre-designed kit, which is about $12,000 total, which is still under the Eterna. But the thing that's going to really make a difference with the Ursa compared to this camera, and I'm going to other cameras too, the Ursa needs B-mount batteries, and I've seen from other filmmakers that I know who've used the camera, it eats through battery. That camera, in my opinion, is not an owner-operator camera. That is people are going to buy it, but it's definitely a studio rental camera because it's heavier. You're going to get up and weight really quickly, and the batteries are going to be more expensive. Those are more specialty batteries, in my opinion. Oh, not my opinion, just what the price is. So you're going to be spending close to this price with that camera, even if you have a lower base. In relation to the Eterna, this comes with the monitor, top handle. Of course, you have internal NDs, which I need to talk about. You have this hotspot battery, and it includes a battery. It comes with a PL to G mount. And there's some other things there's one more thing that comes with. And so that totals in that price of the $16,000. In relation to the Burano, which I think this is a lot of that is kind of gunning for the Burano. It's not there yet, but the Burano does have some weak points that this has some clear advantages over, in my opinion, too. The Burano comes with all of that too, the monitor, top panel, and whatnot, but that starts at $25,000, and you need to get the media. Oh, and I didn't even mention media for the Ursa cameras. If you don't get the CFAX Express Type B cartridge, you're going to have to get your other media, which starts at either $1,800 or $2,000, and you're going to probably get multiple, and you got to get so there's all these. I wish that you, instead of looking at the price in the vacuum for one camera, look at it amongst everything else aside from the specs, because you have to think about how you're going to build it out. Then you can clearly see, okay, does this actually give me more value at this price than this does? And that's how I kind of see it too. And I think another camera roughly in this price, is the Red Raptor XE, and that's at $20,000, and that comes with nothing. That's just the body. But if you need RAW, you got to consider that. All those other things that are in there. So to answer your question, I think it stacks up fine. It just depends how you use it. The advantage that this camera has is the sensor, and sometimes that's just enough for some people to spend that money. So If you can't, and again, I'm not here to sell you on it, but if you don't see yourself getting this camera, I'm not going to convince you. If you don't want to get it, don't get it. You don't have to get it. It's not going to make you a better filmmaker. None of this is going to make you a better filmmaker or get jobs. So, wow. Did it go to commercial break?
I mean, on my end.
So that means it went to commercial break here on the live. You can skip.
Next one is, how is the sharpness out of camera? Does the Eterna have a overall soft image, or is it pretty sharp through and through, even through the different resolutions?
Sharpness is extremely relative, and I never had an issue with Fujifilm sharpness. Maybe I mentioned it here and there, but I put vintage glass on my cameras, so, and I tend to soften up the image in camera anyway. So objectively, I can't really say how sharp it is. It is detailed. Anything 4K, and that's probably coming from someone who's probably using Canon. I know I've heard things that Canon seems to be too soft and too mushy. I think this has a nice blend, but compared to what, it's hard to say. I haven't put two cameras side by side to say which is sharper and which is better. Again, I said earlier, this does have an OLPF filter, so it is going to be slightly softer than the GFX, and I plan to do a side by side to see it on faces at least. That's what really matters to me. How does it look on faces? But outside of that, sharpness is going to be very subjective, and it's hard to really. My hope is I can share some files, because I think you'll be able to download files on Fujifilm's website, because seeing the sharpness and the compression of YouTube and whatnot is not really going to help you. So yeah. Also, I'm sorry if I become ranty. This is a lot of things on my mind. What time is it? Oh wow, an hour by 5. Okay.
Can I shoot with their LUT? I mean, is it burning the footage or just to see it in the monitor and how much LUT?
Yeah, there's two options. You can burn it in, so you can go straight to the Fujifilm LUT. And the other option is you just see it as a viewing LUT, and then you just record F-Log2C just by itself. I don't know if that's going to come to the GFX 102. I don't know if OpenGate is going to come to the GFX 102. But you don't have to burn in the LUT. You can have it just for a viewing monitor, which outputs to other monitors as well if you have video transmission. If you're going to be using that LUT as a base for your color grading later on, so you can actually view that, which is great.
Next, can you see this camera becoming part of an industry standard workflow in multicam broadcast?
I don't know. I don't know the world of broadcast, so that's I don't have any real comment on how that works. Because sometimes camera manufacturers come out with broadcast specific modified cameras. So maybe Fujifilm would do that. They have broadcast cameras. They have broadcast lenses. So that I could see that being a reality for sure.
Someone says, I would love to see some Fujinon anamorphic to pair with the OpenGate sensor for that 2.351.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yes, it has shutter angle. So I just saw that. Yeah, there's shutter angle in here, which is phenomenal. It has shutter angle and shutter speed. You can swap between the two. I did some slow shutter stuff, which I've been missing for the longest. I love slow shutter. None of my cameras can do that in video outside of this camera. So yeah, it has shutter angle.
If already asked, then disregard, but how were the internal ND filters?
Yeah, I need to get to that. They're fantastic. There wasn't any color shift, any noticeable color shift. And I had the NDs on pretty much when I was outside the whole time. You can change how it distributes the ND. And now it's not like an auto ND like the Sony cameras. Maybe that will come later. I don't know. I don't know what's planned for that. But with the knob on the front or the knob on the handle, it kind of gets a little weird sometimes if you don't know where to place your hand. But it's smooth. It's clear. There wasn't any color shifting. No magenta shifting, no green shifting. It stayed true to the color. I was paying close attention to the skin. And most of those, the outside shots, I don't know how many outside shots I put up there, but they had internal ND on. So yeah, thanks for reminding me that. Yeah.
Best lens options to cover medium format on a budget.
Anything large on a budget? The Mamiya 645 lenses, easy. Like you can get the 45 mil for $250. You can get a pass-through adapter from Kip-On or any other. I would trust Kip-On because they have better tolerances. But passive adapter. I think what I pay for that? Like maybe $100 something. So you're about $300-$400 total for one lens. That's on a budget. I made a video about this. Go watch my video of the GFX and Mamiya 645 lenses. I kind of go through all of like how to look for it and stuff like that. So there's some really expensive ones like my Dream lens, the fisheye 24mm. That's like $2,600. It's going down in price though. It's going down in price. I'm going to get it one day. But yeah, if you want medium format lenses, I would go with that first.
How does the image compare directly with the GFX 102?
You'll see that a little bit later. I haven't done straight comparisons yet.
I'm comparing for sharpness, between like Sony, Canon, and even the Nikon ZR more. If like you were to put a theoretical similar glass across the brands, where this would stack up. Guess you answered it already though. Is the internal ND have a auto function like the FX6, or is it manual only? If so, does it work well with the Fuji?
Unless I haven't seen it, it's only manual, and I mentioned that earlier. If there is that setting in here, I'll probably dig in a little bit more. But there's no auto ND option that I've seen so far.
Have you found a good Kodak you'd like to record in on the Eterna 55?
ProRes. I'm always ProRes. Sometimes I could be an Achilles heel with space, but I'm ProRes through and through, baby.
That's the last one.
That's the last one? We actually got through it?
Yeah, because everything else was just more of just like a
commentary
and just saying, and just people already responding with it.
And two said gear pimps. Yeah. Dang, V mounts on 26 volts on my battery. Yeah, Gabriel, how fast do you go through batteries on the Ursa 12K? Like the fact that I can run this battery for almost 7 hours straight is crazy. So oh yeah, it definitely said Kodak, like it was the camera. We knew what you meant.
Yeah,
we knew what you meant, bro. We knew what you meant.
So that's the last one, so yeah.
Cool. Wow, we actually see, this is why you're here. This is why you're here.
I keep you on.
I realized my eye line was down, looking down this whole time because I'm looking at my face. I'm not conceited, I'm telling you. Anything else? Oh, there was one thing. Oh, this is gonna be strapped on
here. Someone says, keep these live broadcasts coming. Epic work, mate.
Should I do more lives? That's up to my wife.
I mean, once a week is fine.
Oh, that's a lot.
Once every other
bi-weekly
week,
or if I have something to say.
A month. Either once a month or once bi-weekly.
Yeah, because I think that'll be good for the times where like, guys, I'm really trying to slow down.
I mean, next month, none.
None next month. But
next year.
I am going to try to get the Eterna video out by next month. That's the only video I'm going to try to get out. Please. I told you I was going to try to do that. She's looking at me like she's about to kill me. But I'm working on it now. That's the difference.
Someone now got a couple more questions and then gotta go.
Yeah.
Can you run custom film sims?
Yes, you'll be able to upload custom film sims. So you can put your RE LUTs on there. You can do whatever you want to get the look that you want to achieve. I wanted to show them this. Hold on. My homies at Wooden Camera, everybody was asking me about these handles because they noticed the BMX handles. These are, what are these even called? There's a name for these. But these are just the new grips that Wooden Camera just released. Very nice. They're not like shape where you have that quick release button. I do like that a lot, but these are very sturdy because you can tighten them down with a hex tool to really lock it in. And they act like spider grips because they are spider grips. So you can fold them back in. They're pretty tight right now because I had them pretty tight. But I like, when I have an easy rig, I like to run it kind of like pistol grip here, so I can get a little bit more control and such. So yeah, was that it?
Someone says if she's available about the live. He's like, if she's available, I'm assuming they're meaning me. Please keep them going. Also,
Oh, this mom.
your mother's on.
Hey, mom, I know you called. It's been a busy day. I'll call you soon. I'll call you maybe tonight or tomorrow morning. Love you though.
How's the VistaVision lenses coverage on the Eterna?
So I'm about to get so nerdy. No, so yeah, VistaVision. I mean, lens coverage is physics. It is just really, you can't go beyond what that millimeter is. So all of my VistaVision lenses are 46.5 millimeters. So they're all going to vignette on open gate. Anything larger than 55 is going to cover it. You'll get the full edge to edge coverage. So yeah, there's no unless it's rated higher, then it's not VistaVision, but VistaVision is rated at 46.5, give or take.
Someone says, haha, the missus doesn't know he got to give the people what we want. To a certain extent.
Careful. Careful. Wife comes first.
I was going to ask if you were in talks with Mid-49 with coming out with a system for the Eterna.
They already announced the system for the Eterna. It's similar to this, but it's like with their what they've done with all the other styles, like the Pixis and stuff. So you'll have the top plate with the rail, and then your rosettes with the arms hanging down. So it's already on their website. You can check it out.
Last question. Are the GFX lenses worth using on this camera? Any real advantage since autofocus is likely a miss anyways?
So my favorite GF lenses that actually perform well with autofocus are the 110 millimeter f2. I love that lens, and it does very well. The 80 1.7, all the slightly newer ones do really well. What's another one? There's a the 24. Is that the wide angle? There's a 20 to 35, but that one was a little iffy for me. The 24 does well. I had that for a little bit. So those are the three I would recommend. Now they do have zooms. Right now I have with me the 24 to the 20 to 35, the 45 to 100, and the 100 to 200. I'm not going to say what I encountered just yet, but I will report back when I can. Those are slightly older lenses. The zooms are. So, but the primes do very well because they have the linear motor technology in it. And it's yeah, I really liked using the 110. I need to purchase that one. And we like the 53.5. Surprisingly, that was actually a decent lens for what it is. What is it? Where is it? It's right here. Nothing broke. This guy here. So this was actually a nice walk around lens for my wife. It's light enough.
Yep. Very good. Very good.
Wow. Why were you at ISO 10,000?
Huh?
You're at ISO 10,000.
Because that was last night.
Oh, you pushed it.
Oh, yeah.
Can you record straight to SSD? Yes, there's an SSD. Our kids are going crazy. Okay, I'm about to leave now. Mm-hmm. Yes, there's an SSD recording option on the camera. I personally don't like recording to SSD because it's just you're introducing another possible cause of failure with the cable because there's no locking option on this unless the case specifically has a locking option. I just recommend internal. CFast Express Type B cards are getting cheaper unless you're getting 4 terabytes in a card, which is way too much. But I should put this on the GFX. That'd be crazy. Just wait till I rig up my 500mm lens. It's literally this big. Okay, is that it?
I mean, he did it. Do you know any workarounds for X mount to E lens? Just gonna throw that one out.
No, I've actually looked this up too. It's just the flange, the X mount. Well, sorry, this is not okay. Back up. X mount is one thing. GF mount is another thing. G mount is another thing. X mount, the X mount has a smaller flange distance than E mount, so it can't physically be adapted to. In terms of this, I don't know what the flange The flange is a little bit deeper, I think, on the GF mount. So there might be a world. Don't quote me on this, but look it up yourself. Because there are some. I've adapted M mount lenses and I forget the other lenses I've adapted to. But yeah, you might want to test that out for yourself.
Yeah.
I use CFast, but more for backups. Really, I use CFast for my actual filming. I don't know. I've always felt safer with internal recording, but that's just me. Okay. Thank you all for jumping in. See, this was a lot cleaner live. I was more focused.
Because of me.
Yes, it's true. You helped a lot for sure. So those who are chiming in after this live, make sure to check out the links in the description below. There's some frame grabs to check out. Footage will be coming later once I deliver the assets to the client, Fujifilm. And thanks again for your questions, hanging out with us. Hope to see you guys in the next one. See ya.
Bye.